Coworker that told me about you guys. I tried a few times to reach out to, I guess, a VSO and some other. I paid for some of the other veteran organizations, paid for membership and stuff like that, and those guys are a little overtaxed. So, um, given the lack of time, I just decided, you guys are a paid service, and so you guys are a lot more motivated. We're a lot of well-intended people really mean to want to save us money and make things easy for you, and they're well intended. It's just they're not motivated. There's nothing except the goodness of their heart motivating them, and so it's hard to get a hold of them. And it's the people who really do uh, follow through with what they say. They are so overburdened. It's just hard to get a minute of their time. So. Uh, that's why I chose to go with Trajector. I figured, well, if I'm going to pay somebody, that's they're at least going to call me back, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Talked to a couple of nurses on the phone. They wrote up the narratives they needed to send. They did all the paperwork. It was pretty easy. I just did it all in my car. So usually when I was working, I just was on the freeway, and they would just call me up. And it was all for different segments of whatever the disability rating was. So the only real homework I had to do was kind of get online and see what my ratings were for. 10% here, 10% there, and then be able to speak to those things. And then the nurses, they all knew the right questions to ask. It's significant. So, in a significant amount more. I think it went from 50% to 90%. I think it was easy, and I got exactly what I signed up for, and so I'm really appreciative of that. It was a little the language barrier, because most of the nurses are Filipino. I'm half Filipino, so I get it, and I grew up in this household. The language barrier was a little bit like I kind of wish I was speaking to an originally English speaker, and then at the end, also it was hard. It was hard. Once I got to the end, it was hard to be like, okay, I need to call them and pay them a fabulous amount of money. Luckily, the process took long enough that I still had enough back pay to cover that and have some left over. So that was all expected too. So just biting the bullet at the end and going like, I agreed to this, and actually paying for that, I don't know what to think of it, because it was a fabulous amount. Should I have waited a little longer? Should I have not? And I think for other veterans in the future to kind of dampen that blow and soften that blow, I would tell them, call the VA, put it in intent to file. That intent to file is 12 months long. Put in that intent to file and let that cook for a few months. Let that just sit there for a few months, and then call Trajector, because you guys move fast. And so the whole process, I think it was about 4 months from start to finish. And I had my intent to file. So if you let your intent to file cook for a good 3 months, now you have 7 months. Now you have a good stockpile in the bank for when the VA puts that back pay in your account. Now you have 2 months in the chamber, and then you could take that 5 months that they're going to go ahead and take from you. And then you still have a little bit of cushion there. So I think for veterans in the future, just they should probably handle it that way.